I wasn't choosing a person. I was choosing familiar. Pain for a long time. I believed I chose partners because of feelings, chemistry, attraction, that inner click. But one day I noticed something that made me uncomfortable. There were too many repetitions, different names, different faces, different stories, yet the same inner feeling, coldness, distance, the need to earn love. That was the moment I realized I wasn't choosing a person. I was choosing a familiar emotional state. We like to think we are searching for love, but the nervous system searches for what it recognizes, for what once existed. There is a concept called imago, an unconscious image of an ideal partner. And this image isn't built from fantasies. It's built from childhood, from the people our safety depended on, from those we learned love, waiting, silence, and adaptation with. And here is the most uncomfortable part. We remember the good. Mom tried. Dad was kind. Grandma raised me. But what attracts us most often are not the positives, but the deficits. If there was emotional coldness, you may be drawn to emotionally cold partners. If love had to be earned, you may feel pulled toward those who make you prove your worth. If the main adult was anxious or dissatisfied, you may find yourself next to someone who constantly makes you feel not enough. At some point, I admitted something honestly. I kept choosing people who made me feel small, not because I wanted that, but because it felt familiar. The most dangerous part of these relationships is the illusion of meaning. It feels like this time, if I try a little harder, wait a little longer, explain more clearly, everything will finally change. As if the relationship were an exam, I just had to pass to receive the prize. Warmth, choice, recognition. I realized that in many relationships I wasn't living. I was replaying, returning to childhood and trying to rewrite the ending. Look, I'm trying. Look, I'm good. Look, I deserve love. But the truth was painful. I kept choosing people who simply could not give what I needed. And the same script repeated. I tolerated. I justified. I explained. I waited. I tried to warm them. I hoped, with one persistent thought, if I do just a little more, he'll change. It was hard to admit, but necessary. I wasn't in love. I was trying to earn love. And every time it failed, I blamed myself, when in reality, I had simply come to the wrong place again. The biggest surprise didn't happen with cold men. It happened with warm ones. When someone stable, attentive, emotionally available appeared, I expected relief. Instead, anxiety. Not joy, not curiosity, but an internal stop signal. It's too fast. He's mistaken. He's in love with an image. He doesn't know me yet. When he does, he'll leave. That's when I saw something deeply important. My nervous system doesn't trust calm, because calm is unfamiliar. There's no tension, no chase, no need to earn. And without that, I don't know who I am. The most frightening thing for a traumatized part is not that he won't come. It's that he will see the real me and leave afterward. So the psyche chooses the safer option, distance. Not because the person is bad, but because closeness feels too risky. Many times it felt easier to be with someone cold than to risk being real with someone warm. There's another layer, rescuing. For a long time I called it care, sensitivity, empathy. I just want to help. I can't abandon him. I see how hard it is for him. But underneath that there was something else. When I rescue someone, I feel needed. And if I'm needed, I won't be left. The relationship feels more secure that way. Until one uncomfortable question appears. If he can handle his life on his own, who am I next to him? If I'm not saving, not fixing, not supporting, do I still have a place? Do I still exist? In the moment of not rescuing, emptiness rises. Because rescuing is a way to avoid meeting yourself, to avoid asking, what do I want? What do I feel? Where am I tired? The most important realization, insight alone is not enough. You can understand 1,000 times that you're drawn to cold people, and your body will still say, this one feels familiar. Because this isn't just cognitive, it's attachment, automatic reactions, an emotional landscape. What truly helps me now? 1. Making the unconscious conscious, I ask myself directly, what exactly pulls me toward him? What role am I trying to play? Who am I trying to save or prove something to? 2. Interrupting the automatic script. If I feel the urge to rescue, I pause and ask, was I ever happy in relationships like this? Am I choosing love or repeating trauma? 3. Allowing a different experience. If someone warm is nearby and I feel anxious, I don't have to disappear. I can say honestly, this is unfamiliar for me. I want to go slower. That is a mature position. Not running, not merging, but regulating closeness. Closeness is always a risk. There is no sterile way to build relationships, but there is a crucial difference between the risk of intimacy and the repetition of trauma. Growing up emotionally means learning to tell the difference, not choosing what feels like pain, but choosing where you are allowed to be alive. If these reflections resonate with you, you're welcome to stay. I run this channel as a living journal, a space for honest thoughts about anxiety, relationships, attachment, and inner work. No advice, no fixing, just clarity, experience, and reflection. Subscribe if you want to keep exploring these conversations together and learn to listen to yourself more clearly.